Hello and welcome to this, the last video for 2022. I probably won't do a video next week because of all sorts of things, being Christmas. Today I started off thinking that I would do a little showcase of lots of little radios and bits and bobs that are floating around, which I've just discovered in my move. But the weather has been absolutely glorious for the last 2 days. It's sort of on the turn now, but it's been, mid-20s for about 3 days and clear sunny skies. So I decided to do a bit of retro writing, and it's on the HMV Super 5 little nipper things from 1968, and yeah, it turned out quite well. I've also fixed the dial, etc. on that radio, and it seems to be working quite well. I had enormous problems with the dial string. It took me 2 hours to actually work out that it was, well, it didn't take me 2 hours to work out that it was wrong, but it took me about an hour to work out that someone had badly restrung it. It worked, but it wasn't working properly, and it certainly wasn't restrung properly. So then it took me another hour to do that, but all's well that ends well. I should have actually just used the other radio in the first place as a guide. There is a guide on the spec sheet or the service data for it, but it's not very clear. Okay, let's get into it. I've also been given a second one of these dots because I'm a Lego Play person. So if you want to hire me for Lego Play, you can do that if you're in Australia. So this is it. So I'll be displaying this in the background somewhere over the next couple of months, and I'll change design or what have you. So have a wonderful Christmas and great New Year, and I'll return in 2023 with some exciting new videos and have everything hopefully set up by then, although I won't have the vision switcher ready because they're closed until mid-January or something like that. So I don't know whether you can see that, if it's in focus. Yes. So remember, life be in it. So anyone who is in Australia will remember this campaign from a long time ago. It was done by Philip Adams. Anyway, life be in it, and best wishes to all of you. Bye. Today we have the perfect day for doing peroxide, which is this stuff. This is only 3%, so this didn't work as well as I would have hoped last year when I tried it. So we have a bag. We have the machine, which is branded Sunbeam here, or is it Breville? I can't remember. And we have the radio. I imagine this radio front off of the HMV would have been this colour originally. There is sort of evidence along the edge there that it was white. So let's give this a go. Now, we'll move this over here. I've already given this a good scrub, although I can see some stuff in the very corners, but we'll see how this goes. Now, just pause here for a second. The first thing we have to do, is seal up one of the ends of the bag. And it's just a matter of, where's the element? Haven't used this for a long time, so it's a bit of a learning experience. So we'll do seal. Takes a couple of moments to warm up. Well, I suspect that is done. Yes. Now, is this long enough? Yes. Now our next step. So the next step is to put the gunk on. So I've got this brush. Whoops, okay, so it's quite runny. Don't remember it being runny last year. Now comes the tricky bit. We have to get the radio front inside this bag with plenty of air around it. Yeah. Now the trick is to do this without it touching the bag. So we'll do this. Take this glove off now. And seal. should be it. Now what we do is we put it out in the sun all day, and hopefully it'll bleach it back to white. So I'll just pause here and move the camera outside with the bag. So this is in the sun, and I'll have to move it around a few times during the day, I think, because this is the area I was thinking of putting it is in the shade at the moment. So we'll show it through the day being moved. This area is not in the sun for part of the day anyway. Another thing I'm going to do this morning is to paint this dial background or mount or whatever you like to call it. This was off the HMV, which we've just done the front of the case with the peroxide, or hydrogen peroxide. Hydrogen peroxide is what I'm trying to say. And this had that black tape on it, so it's a little bit sticky there. I have given it a good scrub with mild detergent and a Scotch-Brite, but yeah, I'm going to have to go a little bit further with that end, I think. So we'll see how this turns out. Now for this I'm using this metal etch primer from Dulux, not a sponsor yet, and the equivalent epoxy enamel, which is a black flat paint, so hopefully that'll match up with the tape that was on it. Now there's not too much wind around at the moment, so I'll just let that dry. For how long? Dry time, okay, repeat, 1 hour. Okay, so we'll leave this for an hour and we'll be back. Maybe I'll put the cover over it. The moment of truth for the undercoat. So we'll take this off. So not too bad. There's a couple of areas there and under there that I'm not quite sure of. Doesn't seem to be empty of paint or anything like that. Okay. Now the breeze is getting up a bit, so let's have a go with this epoxy. Okay. Now the wind is coming from the south, so I'd better move around this side. Okay. should do it. The first coat. Put our dust protector back on. And we'll leave that for another hour or so. So we'll reveal the black. Ooh, that looks pretty good actually. Wow. That looks perfect. Yeah, I'm not going to do another coat on this, so I think it's pretty much, yeah, perfect. There's a few little marks on it, but you won't be able to see that through the dial, so yeah, well done. Sorry, lost the sound here, but what I'm doing here is replacing the tape on the front. This sort of shields the front of the cabinet from the light, stops the light shining through, I guess. This is at 5 times normal speed. Now what I'm doing here is I'm going to glue the dial back together again, all the little bits, so that end is reasonably stable, but this end is now glued back together again. Now I'm not quite sure what happened to the clip with the glue, but it is plastic magic. You can get it in hobby shops and things like that. And it's designed for perspex and everything like that. Now what I'm going to do here is try and screw the two pieces together again, and I'll do an edit here. This is particularly fiddly and it took quite some time. So the moment of truth. This has been out in the outside or out in the garden or whatever for 12 hours. It's just beginning to get dark outside. It's about 9 o'clock. It doesn't really get dark here till 9:30 at this time of year, and it gets light around about 5:30 in the morning. So this is looking pretty promising. I'm not sure if you can see that against the white tiles in the background, but it's definitely whiter than it was. So I might have to pick a few radios to do next week, because last week it was 12-13 degrees and next week it's going to be 37-38. So yeah, the hot weather is upon us. Well, this looks promising. It's come out pretty white. Can't see any lines. Oh, yes I can. Still a little bit yellow across the top there and across there. So we'll just rinse this off. This end is still quite yellow. These brushes are fantastic. You can fill them up with washing up liquid, and yeah, then you press the button and it comes out with the brush. Okay. Well, this end is really nice and clean. The top not quite so. And this end hasn't worked very well at all. Maybe this was in the shade or something. I'll have to turn things around as we go throughout the day. Yeah, still haven't got all off. Need to burn my fingers. Well, that was 80% successful. So I'll just let this drain for a little minute or two while I move the camera back, and we'll see how it goes. We'll compare it to the other one. This has really made quite a difference, but it's not perfect. You can possibly see this one is a bit more yellow, and this one is actually quite white. So if I do that, so it catches the light, or actually I might put this up on here. This is the orange one, as you can see. Actually, it's probably on the top that's the main difference. So this is the orange one, and this is the green one. Orange and green. Seem to remember an Irish Rovers song about the Irish. Yes, well, that's enough of that. Yes, it's definitely made a big difference. This one, this orange one, was much more yellow than the green one. And now this one looks a bit yellowy compared to it. So, yes, bit of a, not a bad success, but not a good one either. So let's put them back together again. I'm still getting bits of that peroxide on it, on my fingers. Yes, you can definitely see where it's worked here. So there's white patches in this yellow area. So it's a bit streaky. So I'll just get my plastics. So for new viewers, this is what I use. I'm not sponsored by them or anything. I'm just waiting for a sale to actually get another bottle of it. Could do with another go, but this edge has turned out beautifully. Unfortunately, tomorrow there's going to be storms. But as I said earlier, I'll be able to do another lot. Next week when it's 37, 38. So I'll get it back together again and then I'll show you the two radios side by side.
My early mentor in television, and John Zorell was not a politically correct character, you know, he wasn't. And we had our moments, but for the most part, I could negotiate that time with him pretty well. We had a rough first 18 months together. I was only 21 years old. He didn't want to hire me. I was hired over his head, actually, by Jim Stiles and David Evans, who were running GTV9, who I'd applied for another job, not as a journalist, but as a trainee executive in this sort of pilot program they were running. And those two blokes imposed me on John Zorell, and he didn't like that. So for the first 18 months, he gave me a hard time. And I kind of, I would push back against that, because I'd never really aspired to be a journalist. So I said, oh, well, if this doesn't work, I'll just go and do something else. Once we figured it out, and we had a great relationship, but other people didn't have a great relationship with him, and they were not able to negotiate his interesting personality, and I would never negate that,
I think that's been one of the trickiest things about the discussions around it. Absolutely understanding and implicitly trusting that a lot of women have had those experiences, and I have, and many others besides. But when you haven't, or when you've been able to, either in the moment or because of dint of your personality or the circumstance, just deal with it and fend it off, I wonder if that ability has actually, not being of deliberate choice, but has ended up making it harder for those women who couldn't. The fact that you might be able to do it and handle it, and those that couldn't were, say, watching and going, oh, crikey, Tracy can, Virginia can, what's wrong with me?
Back in the day, back in 1981, there was no HR department. There were no laws about that. It was frontier land, and you pretty much fended for yourself, and it didn't seem that difficult for me. I mean, I'd come from, I'd been a barmaid. I'd worked in public bars. Excuse me, dog. Sorry. if you've come through that, you sort of get used to not taking any crap, But workplace laws shouldn't be drafted. They have to be drafted for everybody so that people don't fall through the cracks. And, I don't think I was going to be someone who would fall through the cracks, but that doesn't mean that other people won't. And that doesn't mean you don't lift up the ones who can't fend for themselves. You know what I mean?
I think that's exactly why those laws exist. Tracy, our next question is, I always...
Oh,
this is you, for you.
Yeah, I know. I go, sorry, I was waiting for you. I'm used to doing the interviews, not giving the interviews. I always clean my teeth before I go to bed. I've got all my own teeth and I don't have a filling in my head.
Nice job.
So I'm obsessed about cleaning my teeth. If I'm on a plane, if I'm flying overseas, I feel like I will never, I won't eat something without going and cleaning my teeth. I'm obsessed about cleaning my teeth.
Well, when you're on TV, you've got to take care of your teeth. Well, you're better than me. I've got a mouthful of fillings, so good job. I never? How would you answer that one?
I never take what I have for granted.
Okay. Well, I went to school with Tracy Grimshaw, who you're listening to just then, and yes, even went on a couple of very insipid, let's say, insipid dates with her. But she's been on television since 1981 and is retiring at the end of this year. Well, she has retired, I would imagine. I've never watched her on TV because it's, the show she runs or hosts is quite trashy. So, better sneeze yet again. Well, the radios have turned out quite nicely. As I said before, the green one is definitely more yellow than the orange one. So the orange and the green. Won't go there again. I still need to do the knobs and the cords, the power cords, but yeah, they're finished. And probably the power cords can wait because Bunnings don't have any plugs at the moment, or suitable plugs. So we'll wrap this up here. The next section will be the Challenger, which is the brother of these radios, the transistorized modern radio of the 1968. So I'm assuming these were built in 1968. In fact, I will do a video next week, but in the meantime, have a wonderful Christmas. Thank you to all the Patreons and my subscribers on YouTube. I'll also say hello to everyone on Facebook. And may 2023 be a great year for you. Okay, bye.
Grade Alpine Road, Myrtleford. For sales, service and repairs, call 0418 342 092.
Hey Damien, we've got too many mowers. But Smitty, we're one shop. I know we've got too many rovers and cupcakes. We need to get rid of them. Ride-ons, push mowers, self-propelled, zero turns, the lot. And ASAP. Tell everyone, we'll even trade them in. Trade-ins, yes. Finance, yes. And good deal. Let's get mowers moving. The sun's finally out and the grass is growing.
Get us confidence, Greg. And Damien at Green Road Mower today. Green Road finance for purchases. T's and C's apply.
Want real reassurance, real certainty, real people always around and able to get in at short notice when you need them? Trust Real Refrigeration. Most experienced commercial refrigeration specialists. Real don't sit in offices all day. Real are out there seeing clients jumping on the tools and fixing things, even after hours for commercial clients. That's Real service on 1300 856 588 and online realrefrigerator.com.au. Buy fruit and veg today, get them delivered tomorrow for free with New Fruit. And not just fruit and veg, groceries too. New Fruit has just launched new grocery lines, so now there's even more in store to feed your family. Buy them today with free next day delivery. $3. What a deal! Crisp, crunchy fruit and veg fresh in the market every day. New Fruit, locally owned and operated for over 50 years. Fruitonline.com.au. That's our new Fruit Online.
Across the northeastern border. Join in the conversation now. 13 13 32. Nights on 1566 3NA.
Yes, quarter to 10 on 3NA. And what's the matter with you? Two cars. You care about questions? Can't say something. Some questions about what ride. Oh, they play against each other.
So that's 3NE, which is the northeast of Victoria, or in the southern, very southeast of New South Wales.
I'm going very well.
Another one in its place, do you think?
That is a solution. I don't think I would have thought of that. I think I would have just crumbled. That's why you're
These
who
problems
you are.
can be solved.
Yeah, I guess so.
They're all solved.
Didn't think of that.
Are you a fast lycra-wearing walker or are you a stroller?
No, I'm a stroller. I fancy it, but sometimes, every now and again, every month or so, I jog a little bit during the walk.
How does that go?
Well, I go like... It's cool, isn't it? Mildura, 3 engine jet, 321, 61 Mustang, H530, 2 Army Bob, $40, 7 man 4. Here's the $10
Has been the one they have supported. Coming forward now, this is the opening stage over the 342, Craggy Island number 1 west.
That's something up in Mildura. Sounds like a racing station or something.
On their journey,
And that's many, many miles away.
December days have averaged more than 2 degrees cooler.
Friday says that we need unionists and nationalists in government, so if one of those sides wants to walk away, then it pulls the whole thing down.
Not sure what that is.
No, I'm sorry, John. The air hung around the usual over the past week because of high pressure system that blocked the low from moving. That could all change, they say, sometime during this week. The low pressure systems, winter-like weather to much of South over the past month. All the weather is yet to return, with Melbourne folk waking to 9 degrees tomorrow. Sydney side is a minimum 14. But it should warm in time for Christmas, with the Bureau of Meteorology advising there will be a gradual return to average December temps throughout the week. A system moving across central Australia will drag some northerly winds down through inland areas and eastern Australia. It's not going to get not until Sunday that we finally see the peak rapidly build across much of the southern and southeast Australia, just in time for Christmas. Conditions are looking good right now across the country for Christmas Day. Much of southern, eastern and western Australia should be warm to hot, sunny with lots of sunshine and light winds. The weather will be perfect for the beach in Perth, Adelaide and Melbourne, where it's expected to be warm and sunny. Hobart will be a little cooler with a chance of a shower, but still fairly pleasant. There should be an easing of that unseasonable cool weather for Sydney and Canberra by Christmas. Brisbane likely to be partly cloudy, but there could be a stray shower further inland. Almost should stay dry on the coast. The forecasters have painted a different picture for the country's north, with almost monsoonal weather expected for Christmas Day. Showers and thunderstorms are on the cards. For Darwin, the top end. Yeah, that's usually traditional, isn't it, though? Of course, the famous
The QMG Community File.
The
Candle Street Machine and Hot Rod Show returns again in 2023, Saturday 28th and Sunday 29th of January. There's 2 days of action-packed family fun, all the usual stuff such as challenge, sign, go to
Not sure what happened there.
and so much more. Find out more, jump on the Facebook page of Candle Street Machine and Hot Rod Show.
Got something for the community file? Let us know the details a minimum of 14 days before the event. Go to qmg.com.au to find out more. Hurrah, hurrah for Russell's Milk. Mixing quality rations for all your animals. Fresh from the chart cutter. Fresh from the roller mill. Fresh from monopost mixer. Fresh from the pellet mill. No stale old mixers or pellets here. Feed value is lost every week that it sits in store. Call into Russell's Mill, 57 George Street for your price list, or phone them on 6372-6323. Russell's, mixing fresh every day.
Hey Mudgee, iSpots Liquor is now open at Southside Village. Head in for some great opening specials.
Mudgee. That's in central New South Wales.
Vodka Cruiser mixed 10-pack, $28.99. Jim Beam, White Label, 1 litre, $54.99. And Tempest 2 Varietal Wines, 2 for $20. These specials must end the 19th of December. Don't forget to sign up for the loyalty program while you're in store and get all the benefits of being a member. It's completely free to join. iSpots Liquor, now open in Southside Village.
G'day, I'm Dave Goldring from the Property Shop.
When engaging a real estate agent to market your most important asset, you need someone who will achieve the best possible price for your property in any market condition. You want an expert deal maker and negotiator working hard for you. The team at the Property Shop are committed to getting the best results for our clients. When it comes to the bottom line, isn't that the most important outcome? Make sure you call myself or the sales team at the Property Shop on 6372 2222 and love where you live.
Imitators come and go, but there is only one John Lord.
I thought, well, boy, it's going to be a lot of very sorry people. The people who've been sucked in are very reluctant to admit that that also was sucked in, so you don't see people who have lost money. You only hear from the ones like stickers. Made a lot of money on digital currency or whatever.
Better or worse?
Well, look, I was thinking a few things there when James was talking, which is like...
Today, if you've accepted me as your personal saviour. The Bible says that we have an enemy. The enemy.
I'm still only at about 1400 and
I mentioned it's registered there.
New placings, more to come out of this that's changed the makeup.
3BA, the local station.
Hello, Michelle.
How the heck are you?
Looking forward to Christmas, so I guess you are too.
Oh, absolutely.
Defining moments on what comes next.
중요한지 알고 있습니다. 과제 얼마나 잘 알고 계십니까? 계획, 행동, 생존 rick.gov.au/nofire에서 알아보세요. 멜번 빅토리아 주정부 공식 승인. 사이클 좋아하세요? SBS 사이클링 센트럴은 뚜르드 프랑스와 브엘타 에스파냐를
Getting us so far. Coming out of Melbourne, it's about 9. And pouring there.
Yeah.
Happy blue. My baby's gone.
This is interesting, though.
Get that in.
60s and of course making records with Lady Gaga and all the rest of it, right?
Window in this game because you're going to come up to Mackay.
It'll be HA or something. Hamilton.
Shootout in this World Cup. The player kicking first on the losing team has failed to score. And
that'll be news radio back there.
4-1. Now that
This is BO. Something interferes with that. Heard that song 5 times tonight.
1990. You can't.
Actually, that'll be South Australia. Because that'll be South Australia because they delayed half an hour.
Elizabeth accepted, and her state dinner speech because of
One, what was 40 years ago? No, probably not.
The stations there.
in their set. Ready, racing, captain.
Yep.
nearly out of time, and I think someone else wants to squeeze another call in before we go. Warwick says, always keep my phone.
And what did comedian Alan Partridge mistakenly think it was about?
Diddly-dee, potatoes. Well, it's the 1972 Bloody Sunday massacre in Derry. Did he think it was about Russia or something?
You're right about the first. In Derry, London Derry, there was the Bloody Sunday, or the Bogside Massacre as it was known, when British soldiers shot 26 unarmed civilians during a protest march, 14 dead. But then there was this episode of Alan Partridge where he's getting interviewed by Irish journalists, and he goes, you know that U2 song Sunday, Bloody Sunday? It really encapsulates the frustrations of a Sunday. You wake up in the morning, you've got to read all the Sunday papers, the kids are running around, you've got to mow the lawn, and you think, Sunday, bloody Sunday.
She's presenting the weekend version because she's a very versatile presenter.
And here you are, Dom, hosting evenings when last week you hosted Driving It.
Now we're getting into the ABC area.
Complete idiot.
Our final question this morning, my secret pleasure is...
It's Melbourne.
Diddly-dee, potatoes. Ulster fries. Weekend night. For example, for types of jewels.
With all that, I just can't. Oh, it was the TV show. I can't think of his name. He came out here a couple of times. He was a mad punter. Whenever he toured Australia, he would always...
3AW.
Oh, thank you so much.
3AR.
Yes. But I like Google it understood what I was asking instead of making it, I have to trawl through these.
And that's it. So you can see this challenge radio from HMV. Sorry about the lack of light. But this radio is much more sensitive than the equivalent valve, and this one was built in about the same period as those two valve radios.